Daniel Cross believed walking away was strength. Signing the divorce papers felt like reclaiming his life. No more fights. No more sleepless nights. No more responsibilities he didn't ask for. Emma's tears didn't stop him. Her silence didn't slow him down. But 3 days later, a phone call shattered everything he thought he knew. "Sir, there's a child here asking for you." A child, a son. Standing in a hospital hallway, hearing his own last name spoken by a small trembling voice, Daniel realized the cruel truth. The woman he left had never been asking him to stay for love alone. She had been asking him to stay for their child. Daniel Cross signed the divorce papers on a quiet Thursday morning. The pen felt heavier than he expected, but he told himself that was just exhaustion. Emma sat across from him, her hands folded, eyes swollen from nights of crying. She looked thinner than he remembered, fragile in a way that made him uncomfortable. He didn't ask if she was okay. He didn't ask why she had suddenly gone silent in the last few weeks. He only signed, slid the papers forward, and stood up. "I hope you find peace," he said, his voice cold, rehearsed. Emma opened her mouth as if to say something, then closed it. Her shoulders sank. Daniel walked out before she could stop him. He told himself this was freedom. He told himself love shouldn't feel like drowning. 3 days later, his phone rang during a board meeting. "Mr. Cross, this is St. Mary's Hospital. We have a patient asking for you." Daniel frowned. "You must have the wrong number. She listed you as her emergency contact." The nurse continued. "And there's a child here. He says you're his father." The word father echoed violently in his head. "I don't have a child," Daniel snapped. There was a pause. "His name is Noah Cross." The meeting blurred. Daniel didn't remember grabbing his keys or driving through traffic. His mind replayed moments he had dismissed Amazia, her constant fatigue. The way she flinched when he raised his voice, not in fear but in pain. He had been so busy proving his strength that he never noticed her weakness. Outside the hospital room, Daniel stopped. Through the glass, he saw Emma lying pale against white sheets, oxygen lines tracing her face. Beside her sat a small boy, legs dangling from the chair, clutching a worn dinosaur toy. Dark hair, familiar eyes, his eyes. Daniel's chest tightened painfully. He stepped inside. The boy looked up first. "Mom," he whispered. "Is that him?" Emma turned her head slowly. When she saw Daniel, tears streamed silently down her face. "You came," she whispered, more surprised than relieved. Daniel couldn't speak. The child stood up, walked toward him with hesitant steps, and stared up into his face. "Are you really my dad?" Noah asked. Daniel dropped to his knees. No courtroom victory, no $1 million deal had ever broken him like that question. His voice cracked. I think I am." Noah reached out and touched Daniel's hand, as if testing whether he was real. "I knew it," he said softly. "You look like me." Emma began to cry openly. She explained everything: how she found out after the fights started, how she tried to tell him, how he always walked away before she could finish a sentence. "I didn't hide him to hurt you," she said weakly. "I hid him because you were already gone." Daniel stayed. That night, and the next, he learned Noah loved dinosaurs, hated broccoli, and slept better when someone held his hand. Daniel learned how empty his life had been. Emma never recovered. The morning she died, Noah was asleep against Daniel's chest. Emma's last words were barely audible. "Don't leave him, like you left me." At the funeral, Daniel stood numb, holding his son's hand, realizing some mistakes could never be fixed, only carried. Months passed. Daniel's penthouse transformed into a home. Crayons replaced contracts on the table. Laughter replaced silence. He learned how to braid hair for school plays, how to read bedtime stories through tears, how to sit with guilt without running. Some nights, Noah asked, "Did Mom love you?" Daniel always answered, "More than I deserved." He stopped chasing success that meant nothing. He stopped running from responsibility. Because every morning, a small boy woke him up with a smile and one word that still felt unreal: "Dad." And Daniel Cross finally understood. Walking away had been easy. Staying was the bravest thing he had ever done. If this story touched your heart, don't scroll away. Subscribe now, because the stories we tell here are about love, loss, and second chances that change lives. If you believe some mistakes come with a price, if you believe a child can change a man forever, then like this video, share it with someone who needs to see it, and comment, "He stayed." Your support helps these stories reach the people who need them most.